Gossipnista here, your one and only source into the real lives of New Yorkers and what it's like to live in New York City. So is it all glitz and glamour? Where do you start? What should you know? And who am I? I'll tell you everything you need to know, and you'll thank me for it. XOXO Gossipnista. Hi, and welcome to the Gossipnista podcast. I'm your host, Mivana Move. Thanks for joining me. Today, we're talking the Hamptons and discovering what the Hamptons lifestyle is all about. But first, in last week's episode, I spoke with Brandon Valadez, who took a huge leap of faith and moved to New York City during a pandemic. If you've ever dreamt about moving to New York and want to hear firsthand tips on how to do so, please be sure to head on over to episode 15 and tune in. Known as a backyard and playground to the rich of New York City, in this week's episode, my guest is Hamptons local Marissa Ivana. Marissa talks openly and candidly about the Hamptons lifestyle and how you can enjoy your next visit there, while also sharing endless possibilities on creating your own business during the pandemic in the Hamptons and doing remote work. You'll find her energy contagious and want to join her in her new business venture. Here is my interview with Marissa. Hey everyone, on today's show I have Marissa Ivana, who's a good friend of mine, and she's with us to talk the Hamptons. Hi Marissa, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to
Good.
be speaking with you. Glad to be connected and have you on my podcast. Excited to learn more about your story and talk the Hamptons with you. As I'm sure you've listened to the podcast before, I love starting to ask with, what your New York story is. And are you originally from New York, Marissa?
So, no, I'm actually originally from the island of Guam, which I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it's located way out in the Pacific Ocean. It's
Okay.
this teeny tiny little dot right under the equator, three
Oh,
hours from
wow.
Japan and Australia. Yeah, super far.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
New York has always been my dream city, though. When I was 12, I
Mm-hmm.
actually came out for a competition
Mm-hmm.
and stayed at the Waldorf Astoria, and I just fell in
Oh,
love with the city. I
yeah.
know, and I actually told my mom at that time, I was like, "Mom, someday I'm gonna live here." I thought it was
Oh
to
my
be a
gosh.
Broadway star, but apparently that wasn't in my cards. So,
Oh my God.
I mean, I
I did not know all
here.
this. This is great. Okay, keep
Yeah.
going.
And so as a teenager, I came back to New York with some classmates for a school event. And
Mhm,
I actually tried to get lost in the subway, thinking that, I was really naive as a kid. I was very sheltered. But
mhm,
I really truly believed that if I could get left behind, I wouldn't
mhm.
have to go back to Guam. I could just go find a place to live. I know, show up at the
That's
same
the cutest
orphanage.
story.
No, it's embarrassing as heck. I mean, I literally don't ever want to repeat it to my daughter because
Oh,
I'm so
well, she's
afraid that
gonna
she would do
hear
the same thing. I know.
it. Well, the good thing is you're not too far away from the city, so it'll be
I
okay.
know. I know, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so originally from Guam,
Yes,
I know we know each other from Los Angeles,
we
but
do.
and then you came to New York way before I did. So not originally from New York. Why the Hamptons though, and why not New York City?
So if I had it my way, I definitely would be
Uh-huh.
living in New York City. But apparently
Okay.
the universe had other plans for me. I actually moved out to the Hamptons to be with my current partner, who I call baby daddy.
Mhm.
And immediately within, I mean, I knew he was the one right away. So when I came out here, I
Yeah.
really didn't know a lot about the Hamptons. I just knew
Mhm.
of the city. And I think he
Mhm.
expected me to kind of know about the lifestyle out here, and I was completely clueless. So I'm
Really?
like looking at
Oh
him
my
like
God.
rolling
Wait,
my
so
eyes.
what year did you get there? What year did you get there? Because I think a lot of people that are not from New York would probably be rolling their eyes like,
Yeah,
the Hamptons, you
who
hear of it,
cares?
but you
Yeah.
don't. I mean, okay, what year did you get there?
So I got here in
Okay.
2015.
So that okay, and I'm only asking this because and not that I want to be referencing this at all, but again, I didn't know a lot about the Hamptons and I think, you know, I'm gonna say it. Courtney one of the Kardashians did some kind of Hamptons episode, right? I'm
Uh-huh.
not sure which ones,
Yeah.
and that was in 2014. And then
Oh.
maybe that's when the hype of the Hampton got all big. Do you think so?
Possibly. It could be. I'm a huge Sex and the City fan, and I
Mhm.
didn't even put two and two together. I just knew that they would go to the Hamptons just to vacation. And obviously, there's that episode
Mhm.
where they got, crabs in their West Hampton rental. So that's like not exactly the best way to think about a certain vacation town.
Right.
But I mean, it all
Uh-huh.
made sense when I got here. I was like watching reruns of Sex and the City, and I was like, oh, okay,
Oh
that's
my
where I
gosh.
live. Oh, goodness. Yeah,
Oh my
so
gosh, that is so awesome. Yes, I remember the episode clearly. They had like 20-year-olds running the
yes,
party or something like
of
that.
course.
What was going on?
They caught it
I love how
from
we just
making out on the
remember.
couch. Yep.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, so you ended up in the Hamptons because you are with your partner in life who you met there since 2015. And so what area of the Hampton do you reside
So I reside in Southampton, which is
in?
basically
Mhm.
like the very first actual stop of the real Hamptons area. So the Hamptons is like the
Mm.
very end of the Long Island Peninsula. It's like, the very end tip of the
Right.
basically, yeah, of the island. And West
Mhm.
Hampton is not really considered as part of the Hamptons because it's a little further out and you have to pass several
Really?
towns before you get into the
Okay.
actual Hamptons. Yeah.
Okay.
So Southampton is the first town, and that's where I live. It's very close to
Mhm.
everything, very convenient drive. I mean, it takes me 10 minutes to get anywhere pretty much.
Okay, so when you're talking anywhere, what do you mean by anywhere? Like into town, into
In
because when I'm in the
any
Hamptons, it's
Oh, I
long.
see. Yeah, lots of walking. So it takes me about 8 to 10 minutes to get to any of the beaches, which, as you know, the beaches here
Mhm.
are amazing. It takes me
Mhm.
about 10 minutes to get to any of the villages. So I can get to Sag Harbor, which is a really beautiful little village. I can get to Southampton Village or even to Bridgehampton or Watermill within minutes. So I'm pretty close to everything. And the island is really thin, so it's easy to get from one end to the other.
Yes, and you're talking like driving, right? You're not walking.
Driving, definitely driving, yes.
That's the big difference,
Oh my
and again, but
gosh.
still such a short commute, and I'm sure there's no traffic there. So, okay, perfect. So, thanks for defining those different areas of the Hamptons. I think you hear about just the Hamptons as a whole, but then I don't think people know that there's a Southampton, there's a East Hampton, a West Hampton. What would you say is like the most popular Hamptons?
So it depends on your age group.
What?
I'm gonna say so
Tell us the age gaps here.
oh my gosh, yeah. So the older people tend to
Mhm.
like East Hampton a lot, and that used to
Mm.
be called the Old Money Town.
Mm.
However, this particular pandemic has brought out so many more people trying to escape the city. So East
Really?
Hampton has boosted. I mean, the local news lately has said that East Hampton has seen like a ginormous growth, both
Mhm.
in the population and in tourists and in visitors.
Wow.
So I know that they're booming right now. Montauk, however, at the very, very,
Mhm.
very, very, very end of the
Mhm.
peninsula overlooking the Atlantic Ocean, it's
Mhm.
literally the last piece of land before England.
They call it
And
the end of the world,
the
right? Or
end, yep.
something.
It's actually the end of the US before England and Ireland. So, I mean,
Wow.
it's the very tip. That
Uh-huh.
is actually the hottest town right now for the younger
Mm.
crowd. So that's
Yes.
where all of the, the surfer, it used to be just
Yep.
like the surfer type crowd, but now it
Mhm.
seems to be like everybody wants to be in Montauk right now.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's where the younger crowd tends to be migrating to. And I feel like out here, it's more the people who already have their parents' homes, or,
Mhm.
it's an older and a middle aged crowd out here.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, perfect. Tell us about Southamptons. Is that, would you say, though, the main, like if someone's going into the Hamptons for the first time, do they stop at the Southampton first, like the village area? Like what village area does one stop at?
Yeah. So you actually have to drive. So because of how small and narrow, there's only one highway that runs into the Hamptons and out of the Hamptons. That's why they say it's
Mhm.
the safest place of the entire state, simply
Mm.
because all the cops have to do is stop. put a roadblock
Mhm.
right there, and there's no
Mhm.
way in and no way out. I mean, you
Mm.
literally have to stop right there. So that little Highway 27 can be a very sore spot for traffic. It's not a
Mm.
good place to be during rush hour or on the weekends or on a holiday weekend, especially.
Right.
But you stop in Southampton regardless of what village you're headed to. You basically have to stop in Southampton on your way to any of the other villages. East Hampton is approximately 108 minutes, depending if there's no traffic from the city. So if
Oh,
you were
wow.
driving to Southampton, it would only be about 95 minutes. So you
Mm.
add an extra, like 10, depending on traffic. Again, it's one small highway that's going to take
Mhm.
you to these villages. Um,
Mhm.
Again, West Hampton is before you enter the actual Hamptons.
Mm.
So it goes West Hampton and then Southampton.
Mm.
Then there's Bridgehampton, which is kind of like in the middle, and
Mhm.
Watermill. Those are really cute little towns that I always recommend. Sag Harbor is also within that vicinity. And then
Uh-huh.
East Hampton is a little farther. But Montauk, however, is another 40 minutes down, like a long
Yeah.
winding island.
No,
So
no,
that's at the
okay.
very end. Yeah.
So I have a story about Southampton. I mean, no, actually Montauk. When my husband and
Oh.
I first went to the Hamptons, no
Uh-huh.
idea, right? First of all, we didn't know what to do, where all these different
Oh.
towns and villages were. This was long before you were actually there. I think right before you moved, and we were trying to find something to do because there was, in my thought, and then there was like nothing. No liveliness at night, right? Like there wasn't
Yep.
like a bar or party or a club somewhere to go. We were a lot younger then, and then so we ended up mapping something that was in Montauk, and it said it was only like a 20-mile drive, which wasn't that bad. We're going down this long
Yep.
road, right? It's pitch black, and I'm looking at my GPS, and it shows water on both sides of me, and I'm
Yep.
like. And we just kept going and going and going. And I'm like, Todd, we're gonna fall off the edge at some point. That's all I know. And we were freaking out because it just was not ending. And we finally got there, and thank God we found the biggest and the liveliest and the funnest like party spot,
Good.
whatever. And yeah,
I'm
it's
glad that
definitely a
story has a
younger
happy ending.
yeah, it's
Oh
definitely a
my
younger
gosh.
crowd, but it was scary, like driving down that road. It's dark.
It is. So there's a joke that says because all of the streets out here, I mean,
Mhm,
I'm so used to California or Portland,
mhm,
like there's street lights everywhere you go, or there's
yes,
cars, or there's,
mhm,
people. But out
mhm,
here, it is so scary to drive at night. There are no street lights. The roads are long, windy country roads, the back
mhm,
roads, and they
mhm.
all look exactly the same with windy streets and hills and
Yeah,
it's just so scary. So they say
and
there's a
there's a
joke.
lot of greenery. Yeah, what's the joke?
Yes. The joke is that rich people do not like light. They like to live in the dark because they don't want anyone finding them. So,
No
I mean,
joke though.
I don't know if it's like a real popular joke, but that's what several people have told me. Because I'm like, why are there
But
no
I
lights
like
out
it.
here?
No,
Yeah.
no, but I like it, and I think it's really appropriate. Oh my gosh, that is
Yeah.
funny. That sums it all up. And there's also a lot of greenery out there, like I was saying, and there's deer.
Oh
Have
my
you seen deer?
gosh. Yes. Oh my gosh.
That was my first
Deer.
experience too. I was like, "Why
Uh-huh.
am I seeing deers in the Hamptons?" I was at this cute cottage style place, and there was a deer looking at me while I was by the pool.
Oh my goodness. Did you see a wild turkey when you were here?
I don't think so. I don't think
Oh
I
my
saw a
gosh.
turkey.
The wild turkeys are huge, first of all, but they go in flocks. So there's usually like 6 or 7 of them, but them
Mhm.
and like maybe 3 or 4 deer are constantly, I mean, probably on a daily basis in our yard. They walk right up to
Okay.
the porch. I mean, they're everywhere. I mean,
What?
they live out here with us.
Oh my
I know.
goodness, that is
It's
so
kind of cool.
interesting.
Yeah, it's
It
very
is
country.
cool. It is country, but it's beach.
It's
It's
yeah,
different, but beautiful.
it is
Okay.
very different.
So, like, to sum it up, like, how would you just describe the Hamptons in general?
So the Hamptons is definitely a vacation town. I'm going to
Mhm.
say that it has its really nice home-like feel during the off months. So during the
Mhm.
winter, during the fall, it's very
Mhm.
small. I mean, they almost call it a ghost town. A lot
Mm.
of businesses are closed up, so restaurants will be closed on like a Monday and Tuesday, open from
Mhm.
Wednesday to Sunday or Wednesday to Saturday. So things
Mhm.
are very different. And it's like a small town where we're actually trying to find a restaurant sometimes that's actually open on a
Wow.
Monday.
Uh-huh.
And then during the holidays or during sunny weekends, it
Mhm.
is packed. It's literally like the
Mm,
opposite. So,
mm.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to like Disneyland on, a day when nobody's there, which is very rare, but,
Uh-huh.
versus a day when everybody and their mother are there and it's lines after
Mhm.
lines and 4-hour waits for a ride. I kind of feel like that's how it is out here in the Hamptons. So
Mm.
during the off peak days, it's very quiet and very,
Mhm.
like a little hometown feel. And
So the
then
off peak are like you would say October through March?
I'm gonna say after Labor Day, yeah. Labor Day until what's in May?
Easter?
Memorial Day?
Yeah, yeah, mhm,
Yeah, because it's basically this summer is when it's absolutely crazy here. And then
mhm,
obviously, if September has some nice weather, then there'll still be a lot of people. Or in this particular 2020 case, nothing is normal. I mean, I feel like the rush started back in March. That's when
of
people
course.
with homes out here or people who just knew that they needed to get out of the city,
Mhm.
everyone started migrating out here. So it's actually been pretty busy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, but I mean, the Hamptons is really honestly, I have had a very wonderful experience here, so I can't
Mm,
complain about it. But I know not everybody feels the same. I mean, it just depends on how you look at things. And I tend to look at things from like a glass is half full perspective. So
mhm,
to me,
mhm.
I think it's really nice. It's very fun. You see celebrities all the time. I mean,
Oh, that was the question I had for you,
oh
but you
yes,
already dropped it. Okay,
oh
um so you see celebrities all the time,
yeah,
and that's amazing. And I'm going to ask you that later.
okay.
We're going to have to know who. So start thinking of all those names.
Oh
So, and you were
gosh,
already answering my next question. What you like and dislike about New York. I mean, I'm sorry.
specifically
Ah,
the Hamptons. Okay.
yeah, specifically the Hamptons.
You're so cute. So I really like the beaches. I really
Mhm,
like the beautiful scenic villages and
mhm,
there's a lot of history here.
mhm,
So, I mean, depending on what you're into, if you really like art, we've got beautiful art museums. We have awesome wineries and vineyards. Apple
mhm.
picking is so much fun. I don't know. Have you ever done apple picking?
No.
Oh my
Mm-mm.
goodness. So there's a really popular local favorite place out here called Milk Pail, and they
Mhm,
basically you give them like I think it's $50. They give you a
mhm,
plastic bag. You go
mhm,
into the apple orchards, I guess,
mhm,
and you just
mhm.
pick as many apples as you can fit into your bag.
Um,
And
uh-huh.
it's so cool because they have all the different varieties and it's just like acres
No
of
way.
apples, different apples. Yeah,
Oh,
so that's
wow.
a fun experience.
Oh.
Um, yeah, so I mean, one thing I really don't care for is the
Mhm.
traffic. You
Mm.
can almost always tell the locals here are very nice. The people that have the dual residences,
Mhm.
the people that actually live here are usually very friendly and
Mhm.
considerate and courteous because it's their town too.
Mhm.
But you can always tell the tourists. So, I mean,
Mm.
when people are a little bit disrespectful or,
Mhm.
not the friendliest, then you're like, oh God, that must be a tourist. So during
Wait,
the
so when
summer,
you say tourists, we're
uh,
talking tourists from New York, or just in general?
I'm gonna say a tourist is somebody who either doesn't come out to the Hamptons very often, because I feel like
Mhm.
if you go somewhere often enough, you should be
Mhm.
able to respect it. I'm talking like,
Right.
the college kids that come out and litter, or, like the people
Mhm.
that are
Mhm.
driving and cutting people off and not
Mm.
following any
Mhm.
of the rules, or
Impatient.
there's a whole different vibe. Yeah, the vibe out here normally is people are very respectful and a lot of people keep to themselves, um,
Mhm.
but you can always tell during the summer, it's a whole nother experience. It's like the
Mhm.
locals don't even wanna go out during the summer. It's not worth it.
I'm
They're like, "Oh,
sure.
protect your
Well,
peace."
they have so many lands and acres and their big sprawling homes near the beach, so I think they end up being okay. Um, but no, I hear you on that, and I can 100% see that being someone who has gone to the Hamptons often. I've learned how you just have to learn the vibe of how mellow it is and respecting
Mhm.
the area, just like you mentioned. So okay, but that's what you dislike? Only one thing?
Um, so that and no. No, not at all. So when I lived in LA I was able
Mhm.
to go to a Trader Joe's, a bar studio, a boxing studio, any gym of
Mhm.
my choice, a Whole
Mhm.
Foods. I mean, within 5 minutes. But
Mhm.
out here, they don't have any of that. If I want
Wow.
to go to a Trader Joe's, I have to drive up island for about an hour and a half to get to the
Wow.
closest Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. I have to drive
Wow.
45 minutes to get to the closest Target. So, as an
Wow.
alcoholic and as a mom of babies and toddlers,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
those are kind of things that I really do miss. And so
Mhm.
living out here, also the cost of living is a lot more because things have to be
Mhm.
imported. So our gas is
Mhm.
pretty much always like maybe 50 cents to 75 cents higher than it would be if
Wow.
we drove 45 minutes up island. So,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, so the cost of living, that's kind of one downfall, but at the same
Mhm.
time, when you look around and when you realize how beautiful the area is, and
Mhm.
there's a lot to appreciate that kind of
Mhm.
balance it out. So, I mean,
Mhm.
it almost makes
Yeah.
it worth it.
I mean, I think it's the perfect place for you and your husband and what you do, and you have 3 lovely children. I mean, I couldn't imagine you anywhere else. Definitely in the city too, because you have that energy and that liveliness, but I think the Hamptons is where you're meant to be.
Yeah,
And
so I mean, we're here pretty much because of the kids. So, I mean, if,
Mhm.
like I said, if I was single and just out here on my own, I would definitely live in the city because I think
Mhm.
I would go nuts.
Yeah,
Because it's
no,
definitely a different vibe. Like I was saying, it's very peaceful and quiet. It's like a country town
it's a
versus,
family
yeah,
town
versus a
too.
city. Very
Mhm.
family town. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
And
I
and
mean,
you answered my next question, which is, would you move away from the Hamptons and live
oh.
anywhere else?
Well, only because I'm very, very, very close to my family, and
Mhm.
all of them live on the West Coast. The only
Mm.
other place I would probably move to while my kids are still young is probably to Washington State so that I could be
Mhm.
near my nana and
Mhm.
my parents and brothers and sisters. Um, but other than that, I love the Hamptons. I love all my clients out here. I love, just the experiences that we've had and
Mhm.
everything so far. For right now, the timing of it seems to be perfect. And I'm a huge believer in timing. If the timing is not right, things are not going to fall together. But if it is
Mhm.
right, then they fall together perfectly. So,
100%.
yeah.
And talking about clients and timing,
Oh,
you have actually formed this amazing new business that aligns with your background. So I would love to dive into that, Marissa. Let's start with, what is your career background? Gossipista here. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. I wanted to hop in here to ask that if you haven't yet, if you could please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast wherever you listen. This will help me reach more people and spread the word about New York City and those who love it. And if you want to stay up to date, be sure to follow at Gossipnista Podcast on Instagram. Now, back to the show.
so I have a background in dance. I've pretty much been one of those people that has always believed that any job I'm going to do is going to be something I enjoy. So pretty much every single job I've ever taken on has been something I've really enjoyed at the moment. But
Mhm.
dance has kind of been that underlying dance and fitness.
Mhm.
I've been training people in the fitness and dance area for about 25 plus years.
Mhm.
I moved from Guam to Seattle to pursue child psychology, and then I ended up making the Blazers for which is the NBA team for the for Portland.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I made
Mhm.
that my sophomore year of college, and I ended up moving to Portland to pursue that. So I danced for the NBA for a total of 5 years, but in
Wow.
between that, I also moved to Cabo because I was married to my first husband, now my
Mhm.
ex-husband.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
we had a little family life there, but I did dance in Cabo as well. And that was a lot of fun. I got to be a little showgirl with this Cuban entertainment company,
Oh my
and
gosh.
that was amazing.
I'm sure
But
that was an
yeah,
experience.
learning all those different styles, and no one spoke English, so that was really fun too. I had
¿Hablas
really
español?
poquito, sí, because
Poquito?
I had to live
Okay, great.
there. And then after that, it was back to LA, back to Portland to dance again, and then LA for 6 years prior to coming to the Hamptons. But the
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I think I've consistently done is dance training and fitness training.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's just always been my passion since I was
Mm-hmm.
little. And
Mm-hmm.
I know New York has always been the place that I've wanted to live my whole
Wow.
life. So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of all
Mm-hmm.
came together here. I was brought here.
And you have now created an amazing business named, you
My
know,
move.
Mivana Move. And it couldn't be the best name for you. Marissa Ivana Mivana Move. I love that name. Can I just say that? Because
Yeah. So actually, you have to say it like I wanna. So remember that old Austin Power joke, the my Ivana hump a lot?
yes.
So she was a character, and they would say the word Ivana for everything. Well,
Hmm.
Myvana is actually just M for Marissa and Ivana.
Uh-huh.
So I say Myvana move, but I also think about it like because I want to branch out and have Myvana sweat, Myvana dance, Myvana sculpt,
Yes.
Myvana
Yes.
grow, Myvana rise, Myvana flow. It's like
Mhm.
I wanna, and I want to do so many things. So I figured Myvana and start with
My
move.
Vonna Move. Yes,
My
I mean, it is such a catchy name, and it encompasses who you are, so that's why I love it, and let's talk about how you came up with this, and what you're doing, and all those details.
So I basically came up with it because we were stuck in a pandemic, quarantined, and my bar studio that I taught at closed, and I was missing the experience of teaching. I was missing my clients. I was just missing it. I mean, I have such a passion for sharing my love of fitness with others. So
Mhm,
um, I just decided, I mean, people have been asking me for the last, gosh, 15, 20 years to start my own thing, but I think
mhm,
it's what's been holding me back really is it wasn't the right time. I wanted
okay,
to do so many things. I didn't really want, or I wasn't really ready to put the time and energy into my own business
mhm,
because I was going through whatever family issues or, still finding out who I am and where I'm supposed to be. And now
mhm,
that I feel like I found that, I have my little family, I have my partner,
mhm,
I found what I love to do, beyond everything else that I love to do. And
right,
so I just
right,
decided that it was the right time. We're all stuck at home. Why not? I mean, the only way I'd be able to really reach out and share my gift of fitness while in quarantine in a pandemic, a global
mhm,
pandemic, mind you,
mhm,
is virtually. So I decided, okay, I'm going to stop putting it off. I'm going to start focusing on this. And I mean, so far it's been just absolutely wonderful. It's been everything that I wanted. So many people the response and the feedback is great. So many people are thanking me for finally doing it. It's still a work in progress, obviously. I'm a forever student.
Marissa,
Yes.
I'm gonna stop you, and I'm
Okay.
gonna just ask, Mivana Move, tell us about it. Tell us about what it is specifically. I don't think we defined 100%
Oh,
what Mivana Move is.
okay. So my Vana Move is just basically my new company. It's created by me. It's a
Mhm,
method of fitness.
mhm,
And it's a dynamic program that basically evolved from my 25 plus years of dance and yoga
mhm,
and sculpt and
mhm,
functional fitness
mhm,
combined with my passion to help others. I love
mhm,
transforming other people's bodies and I love mindful movement. So
mhm,
basically, I put together a sculpt slash bar slash yoga slash cardio hit program.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
The workout changes every single class. You never do the same workout. So that is
Okay.
one way, in my mind, of challenging and helping people to grow. It's very anti-aging. It keeps you nice and young. We want to keep our brain regenerating, and we want to keep, ourselves young. The sweat is amazing. I mean, people come to me and tell me they haven't sweat in years until they took my class, and that's
I'm gonna
amazing.
stop you again because
Yeah.
you're talking about young and
Okay.
keeping young. And can I just say here, people, Marissa keeps saying she's been dancing for 20-25 years, and the girl looks like she's 18. Okay, so whatever she is doing,
Oh,
one, I should have been on board forever ago, but she knows, hence taking me to the one yoga class she did once upon a time and I died, that I'm just horrible. But
you're
yes,
so funny.
you are a gift, and what you're doing, please continue.
I mean, I really truly do believe that age is a number. You should see some of my clients. Oh, Mariana, these women are 70, 75. They move amazing. They are so strong. Their planks, their push ups. I mean, they know how to do everything that I'm doing. Of course, working mindfully with their bodies, considering their injuries or any previous
Mhm,
surgeries. They are
mhm.
still phenomenal. And I mean, they're
Oh my
my
god.
inspiration. So, I
Can
mean,
you ask them, like, if they started later in life and and
no.
what the key is? I'm just
Well,
kidding.
truly, I mean, sweat is wonderful. When you're
Mhm,
sweating out your toxins, not only is it releasing endorphins, and, one of my favorite mantras in life, I probably shouldn't even really say this out loud, but one of my
mhm,
favorite lines ever is exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, and happy
mhm.
people just don't shoot their husbands. They just
Oh my gosh.
don't.
I like that. I like that.
So, yeah, I mean, Elwood said it best, but I have used that since Legally Blonde came out because it's just my little mantra. I really truly
Yeah.
believe that the endorphins from exercise, from sweating, from getting your heart rate up, from doing
Mm,
something that's good for you
mhm,
it's so awesome. And it regenerates, like I said, your cells. It's wonderful
mhm.
for your brain. It really does keep you young. It gives you energy. It just takes you to a place where, your body needs to be.
I'm moving as we're talking now. I am so pumped. You pumped me up.
I'm sitting
Um,
here in plank, I know, so if I start saying weird things, it's because, I have to pull my abs in a little bit more.
Mhm. Okay, so let's talk about the logistics here, Marissa.
Okay.
So you are doing virtual classrooms, and how do these classrooms look like, right? How big are they? And are you doing it on Zoom? And are you sharing everyone's background? Like, what are the little logistics like that, so that people, should they want to join, they know and what they're coming into to feel comfortable.
Okay, so because it is a home workout and, the governor has not approved any sort of indoor in-person workouts
Mhm,
yet,
mhm,
I'm doing everything. All of my Zoom workouts are in my living room,
mhm,
which
mhm,
thankfully has a very high ceiling. So it does
mhm.
give that openness of an open space. I
Yeah.
have my little portable bar, which I, recommend to everybody because it really does help a lot as far as our bar movement.
Mhm,
And I have some weights and a mat. And pretty much
mhm,
anybody who is at home, I give them lots of options that they can use from water bottles to wine bottles,
mhm.
depending on how much you drank of it last night, of course.
Of
Yeah,
course.
you can pretty much modify and use whatever you have at home in lieu
Girl,
of a bar.
I've been asking my husband to get some Amazon weights and they're sold out
I
because
know. Oh my
people
goodness.
are
I
just
know.
trying to work out, right? And you just gave us
Everybody.
the best idea. I mean,
Soup
I
cans.
have bottles of wine. I could do
Yeah.
that.
Or soup cans work as well. I mean, you can do that
Mhm,
as well. But
mhm,
really, truly, a lot of my workout is creating your own resistance. So even if you
mhm,
didn't use a single prop, I'm able
mhm,
to help sculpt your arms, your legs, your abs in ways that you never dreamed were possible without
mm.
using a single weight or prop or piece of equipment, because it's all
Wow.
about creating that resistance within your own body, finding that energy, shooting it out. When you're working your arms, you want to really shoot it out through those arms or down your
Mhm.
legs or keeping those abs so tight. Like there are ways to do it without any prop. So
Wow.
that should never hold anybody back. So as
Okay.
far as signing up for my virtual workouts, it is through Zoom. So
Mhm,
what I do is I have a subscription that people can subscribe to my newsletter. And that
mhm,
is all found on my temporary website, my temporary
mhm,
landing page. And
mhm.
that allows them to be on my list. And when I send out my list, I have a schedule. So these are all live streaming classes. So it's not like, oh, it's midnight. I'm going to go on and do a Mivana Move workout. It's not going to
Mhm,
happen. Not yet,
mhm,
anyway.
mhm,
That's
mhm,
in the
mhm.
process. But
Okay.
right now, I have scheduled classes at certain times. And so they would just have to log in using the Zoom link and
Mhm,
the information that I email them prior. I
mhm,
also email them, things that they could use as far as props. Maybe they'll want to use sneakers or be barefoot. It's up to
mhm,
them. And
Mhm.
obviously, I always want people to know that they have to work with their body and wherever it is today. So,
Mm.
not trying to be who they were back in high school when they ran track and not
Mhm.
trying to be the dancer that they were 10 years ago. Like, you have to
Mm.
work with your body in its current state and, be accepting of that, first of all,
Mhm.
because your
Mhm.
ego is not your friend. So, I want everyone to be open to that idea. And
Right.
so basically, you would just show up at the class time. I would let everybody in. I would introduce myself and talk about what we're going to do as far as what they'll need for props. And then we just start. And one funny thing about my classes is
Mhm.
everything is designed on the spot.
Mm.
So I don't have a preset workout that I'm
Mhm.
looking at or referencing or memorizing. Nothing is choreographed. It's
Wow.
basically I change the music every class. So whatever
Mhm.
songs come up is
Mhm.
how the music guides me, and I also work with whoever's in the class. So I
Mm.
always try to find out like what injuries people have or what their
Mhm.
background of fitness is. That way
Mhm.
I'm able to design a class. If I know that everyone in my room has knee or hip issues, we're not going
Mhm.
to be doing any jumping jacks. We're not going to be
Right.
doing any burpees. So,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I pretty much design the class to be something that everyone feels they can do, that they feel
Mhm.
accomplished after, but they still
Mm.
get an amazing workout.
Wow. That's awesome. I love that you cater it to every
Yeah,
and
to
each
whoever's in
individual.
there.
And,
Yeah.
so would you say you have people joining you only from the Hamptons, from New
Oh,
York? Like,
no.
it's all over?
All over. That's the beauty of the virtual classes.
Yeah.
Is that
Mhm.
literally wherever you are in the world, if you have internet, you can
Mhm.
take these classes. So
Mhm.
I've actually had friends from Guam, California, my family
Wow.
in Washington. Yeah.
Mhm.
I've had people
Mhm.
from all over, Wisconsin, Florida. So I've been very fortunate to reconnect with friends that I haven't seen in so long.
Yeah.
Um, literally, one person that took my class, I haven't seen her since we were 5 years old
Mhm.
in Guam.
Mhm.
It's,
Oh
like,
my
amazing.
gosh.
I know, I'm like, "How did
Wow.
you even find?" I mean, social media is amazing. It really does
God.
connect people, and
It's
yeah,
such the perfect thing for I mean, in
for
general,
right
right?
now,
But not even for right now. I feel like this is the wave of the future,
it
and
is.
just having a connection with someone who knows what they're doing, is an expert in what they do, and being able to guide people and just build a community. It's amazing.
Mhm. And that's something that's super important to me too, is that personal connection.
Mhm.
Actually, the title of my last email to my clients last week or this week
Mhm.
was quality over quantity, because I
Mhm.
used to offer daily classes and people were
Mhm.
requesting more and more. But
Mhm.
instead, I decided to actually scale back on the classes, have fewer
Mhm.
classes, but
Mhm.
be able to record and review all of the different clients in their different
Mm.
positions and exercises and make
Mhm.
notes of it. And that way I can share
Oh.
with them what I thought they should change or what they should fix
Mm.
and correct. That
That's
way,
right.
they feel like they're getting almost like a personal
A
private
trainer.
trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, so I
wow.
want them to feel like I said, I want it to be this tight-knit community, and people I want them to all know they pretty much all do know that I really truly care about their success, and
Mhm.
I'm doing
Mhm.
this for them to help them.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
Well,
everybody
that's
has their
amazing.
own motivations, and that is
Yeah.
mine. I really wanna help people, so
I love it, and I have to join, and kudos to
you
you for
do.
developing no, I'm going to, just watch me. And then, so all of this of what you do, I tell me, how do you stay so young? Is it working out?
I mean, one thing is I don't ever have a moment to sit down and think about how old I am. I did
Mm,
actually, my most recent birthday was like kind of a milestone big one, and I was so traumatized. I was so traumatized. But I was in denial of it because I really didn't. I mean, I'm like, wait, I remember clearly the day my mother turned that age. I clearly remember the day J-Lo turned that age. J-Lo is my lifelong idol,
oh my
by the way.
gosh. Uh-huh.
So,
Okay.
and yeah, I mean, everything I do, I'm like, oh, someday I'll look like J-Lo. Someday I'll do this. But
Girl,
anyway,
you are I mean, you're
oh,
nowhere near her age, but,
someday.
like, J.Lo is amazing for her age too.
Yes, I know.
So
So, just staying active and like I said, age to me is just a number. I never
mhm,
really try to guess people's ages.
mhm,
I get along with people that are 20 years older than me, people that are
Mhm,
20 years younger than me. Like I've always been that old soul trapped
mhm,
in like a little kid's body, but at the same time, like I relate to the younger people as well because I'm a very
mhm,
nurturing person. So I
mhm,
almost get like
mhm.
the mommy instinct for my little 20-year-old friends. And then
Yeah.
I also have that like I'm on your level with my 70-year-old friends.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
I mean, and
mhm.
everyone in between. I love people. And so I mean, I kind of feel like I'm able to connect with different age groups all the
Yeah,
time. And then as
perfect.
far as like, I mean, I don't really have any other than working out all the time
Mhm,
and, just knowing that I mean, telling myself I'm not aging.
mhm,
I don't know.
mhm,
I'm forever
mhm.
25. So that's all I have to, I just kind
Yeah.
of force that in my mind and,
Mhm, mhm.
thoughts become things. So I don't
100%.
think I'm
Okay.
really going to turn 25 tomorrow, but I'm just saying, like, you are how you ever you feel and you do what you do. So,
Yeah. You're
yeah.
young and vibrant, period. So we'll leave it at that. Well, thank you for
Oh,
sharing with us,
yeah.
Mivana Move. Did I say it right?
My
My
Vana move.
Mivana Move.
Yeah,
I'm
think I
sorry,
wanna.
I wanna. Well, I love to now keep probing on Hampton things,
Go
Marissa,
ahead.
as you
No
are
problem.
our Hamptons queen. And on this last segment, I want to ask more tips for the audience in regards to the Hamptons. And you kind of referenced this earlier, but let's just ask it more specific.
Okay.
How far is the Hamptons from Manhattan, New York? And how does one get to the Hamptons from here?
If they don't have a car?
Right?
Um, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna say that the Hamptons in general is
Hmm.
approximately an hour and a half to 2 hours from the city.
Hmm.
That is on a good day. That
On a
means
good
there's
day.
no accident. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no major traffic jams.
Mhm,
Yes. If you were to come here without driving yourself,
mhm,
you could take either the jitney or you could
mm,
take the Long Island Transit, the train.
mm,
All of the trains stop in or the each village has a train stop and a bus
mhm.
stop. So
Okay.
I know the Jitney and the Ambassador are pretty popular ways. A lot of
Mm,
people just they jump onto a Jitney bus. It takes you straight out here, drops you off
mhm,
in whatever village, and then it takes you back to the city when you're ready to go back. They have
mm,
daily buses at all different hours. So
mhm,
that's a very
mhm.
convenient way to do it.
Perfect. So let's the jitney, right? When I first came to New York, I
Mhm.
was like, "What the hell's a jitney?" And I don't think I. It probably has been referenced on the podcast at some point, but a jitney. Can you define it? I mean, I can because I googled it before this, but like,
Yeah.
what's a
So
jitney?
Jitney is actually just the company name for the
Hmm.
buses that run between Manhattan and the Hamptons.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's actually just the company. They have the Jitney and then they have the higher end version, which is the Ambassador. So you pay a little bit more, but you get more room. So, like, they
Okay.
call it leg space, I guess.
Because, like, I was taking jitneys in New Jersey when I was there for a second, like,
Oh, yeah.
like, I'm under the impression a jitney is like is it a smaller looking bus? It's like
Oh, no. Nope,
no?
they're big old tourist buses. Like,
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like a little bit bigger than a school bus. They have Wi-Fi, they have air conditioning,
Mhm,
there's a bathroom in there. They
mhm.
serve you water bottles and snacks, there's
Hmm,
seatbelt.
interesting. Okay, so then they're
Yeah,
different in different areas, I'm assuming. It's just a
yeah,
name
it's
that's
just the
used
name of
for
the
a bus.
company. Yeah, the
Mhm.
Jitney, it's like the Hamptons Jitney. It's, literally
Okay,
the company's name.
perfect. Okay, so then you can
Yeah,
take the Long Island Railroad or a
you
jitney
can.
or by
Mhm.
car, and
You can
you're
also
looking
take
at
Uber, but that's pretty expensive.
you can take a what? An Uber?
An Uber and a Lyft, yeah, that runs you about
Have you?
300. I have not personally, but I do know people who prefer to take an Uber instead of getting in a public bus right now,
Oh,
just
wow.
post-pandemic. Yeah. Some of my clients have $50 million homes on the beach here. So,
Wow.
I'm
Okay.
as Jay-Z would say, "Money ain't a thing."
Right? Or no, I was gonna say something else, but I'm not. But no, I actually Googled, not Googled, I looked up Lyft and Uber rides prior to speaking with you today because I also had read that you can, and I'm like, really, who does this?
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me see how far, how much it is, and like from the Upper East Side here where I live, it's it's roughly under $300 for a Lyft. It's like
Yeah.
280 or something. And
Mhm.
for an Uber, it's like, I would say anywhere between 30 to $50 more expensive. But I mean, they're
Mhm.
both pretty comparable, but a Lyft is a little cheaper. But hey,
Yeah.
like if you split it with an XL with like four people,
Oh, yeah.
you're only looking at a $50 ride yourself. So you can
Yeah.
take an Uber, people,
This is true.
or Lyft. Perfect. Okay. So we know how far it is. In realistically, you can expect like 2.5 hours on a bus, or right,
Realistically,
or
yes, definitely.
yeah,
Two and a
on the
half
bus.
hours on a good day.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. And so, what do you think it is about the Hamptons that New Yorkers love? Like, I mean, is the Hamptons worth visiting, Marissa?
I believe it is. I mean, it's worth visiting as long as one, you know where you're going, because like you referenced your first trip here, you were like,
Hmm.
what in the hell am I supposed to do?
Right.
So I
Right.
think you pre-plan it, like know exactly which restaurants to hit, know, which sites you want to visit, know which beaches you wouldn't want to go to. Then I think it's worth it because it
Okay.
is a
So
beautiful
then
place.
you have to tell us that, please, now while you're here, because like me, others may not know, right? And times have changed from when I came a long time ago. So tell us, if someone's going to the Hamptons, where are the beaches, the restaurants, the things they should do to cross off the list?
So I would definitely recommend stopping at Wolfer's Vineyard. You can go wine tasting. They've got fabulous food. They've got, it's just a beautiful setting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there are art museums such as the Parish Art Museum. We've got lots of really pretty historical areas that you can just drive through. All of the
Hmm.
villages look really, really cute. It looks like time never passed. So
Right.
the beaches
Hmm.
are gorgeous. Sagmain
Hmm.
Beach and Coopers tend to be the most popular, I'd say.
Wait,
If
so
you're
what's the first one called?
Sagmain Beach,
Hmm.
Saggmain Beach.
Hmm.
It's in
Hmm.
Sagaponack, which is
Hmm.
a very nice area,
Okay.
but it
Okay.
tends to be a private beach. So I do believe you are able to get in as a not as a tourist, but I think you have to have a
So here's my problem, Marissa. I Every time I go to the Hamptons, I would say like 99% of Hampton beaches are all private beaches, and most tourists, public people can't get on them besides Cooper Beach. And I'm not sure if Sagamain Beach is open to the public. But so, how do you get around that? I mean, I don't mind paying, but why can't you access beaches as easily and readily?
Well, that is a good question, but if you think about it, it adds to the exclusivity. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to just go to a crowded beach, why are you going to come all the way down to the Hamptons? You're
Hmm.
not. You're going to go somewhere up island where the beaches are public. When you come
Hmm.
out here, there's that sense of exclusivity that people are like, oh, yeah, I know somebody. I'm able to get into this beach, or I'm able to go to this person's house and they live on this private beach. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I think if you were to get a beach pass, you are pretty much able to go to whichever beach you choose as long as it's
Hmm.
not a private beach. But
Hmm.
each village does have a beach that's accessible to residents. I think
Mm,
right now for this particular summer, things
mhm,
might be a little different. They might be a little stricter on the beach
mhm,
passes.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
but yeah, as far as and did you know that all the beaches here are connected? So if you were to go to a beach in Long Island, you could actually walk all the way to Montauk. All of the beaches
Really?
are yes.
There's nothing cut off there, like
There's
where,
nope, it doesn't stop. Um,
hey, that's your way to get to the Hamptons then, people. Just
well,
walk
I
your way.
mean, it's a very long walk, but yeah. I mean, all the beaches are connected here. So, I mean,
Mhm,
some people will start at Cooper's and literally walk all the way to Sagmain Beach or even further to East Hampton. So,
mm,
yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice that it's all connected,
mhm,
but I mean, maybe that's another reason why Montauk is a little more popular right now is because it's a little more open. It's definitely a
mhm,
surf town.
mhm.
It's a very lively little area.
And I think the beaches are a little more accessible over there as
Are
well.
more accessible,
Yes.
yeah.
So, one thing, do you have any particular restaurant besides the Vineyard that you like to go to that you recommend somewhere in the Hamptons?
Oh my goodness, I have so many favorite restaurants. It's gonna be so
Mhm.
hard to choose.
Well, just
Um,
give us a couple.
okay, so popular restaurants, I'm gonna
Mhm,
say you should definitely stop at Topping Rose, which is in
mhm.
Bridgehampton. That's a
Mm,
very popular place. They also have a summer area. They're trying to make it seem like a Vegas type thing. It's called the
okay,
Clubhouse. So yeah, it's like a
okay.
Vegas pool area. Plus they have like fitness classes and fun things like that. So
Mhm,
Topping Rose is one. Coast
mhm,
Grill is going to be a little harder for the tourists to get to because it's on the bay side, not on the beach side. So it's kind
mm,
of like a back road. But it's so delicious and the food is always amazing.
really?
Bamboo in
Mhm,
Southampton is one of my favorite sushi restaurants, and we just
mm.
got a new omakase, Kisaka Omakase. It's gonna be in Watermill, and that's an amazing restaurant as well.
I love that you're sharing sushi too, because I have to say, and you coming from California as well, I have not been as happy with the sushi in the East Coast as I was in the West Coast. Would you agree, disagree, don't remember?
I Oh my goodness, I ate sushi probably every single day in LA. So yes, I remember very
Mm,
vividly. But I mean,
mm,
I've had pretty good sushi out here, but it's
okay, good.
probably because I'm in the Hamptons. I haven't really tried a whole lot of places in the city.
Mhm,
So, I
mhm,
mean, I do miss like crazy our LA places.
mm.
Because I mean, there were some phenomenal places in LA that I remember.
Yeah. Yes, yes. So then I'm going to the Hamptons to have sushi just for that, and I'm
I
gonna
mean,
visit you, and
yeah,
I'm gonna
there's
we're
good stuff out here.
good. Okay,
I can
good.
definitely tell you, like, my top 3 favorite sushi restaurants. So if you're looking for sushi, I mean, I'd be the person. You know me, sushi and sweet potato fries, those are my, like, 2 staples in life, so
Mhm, mhm. But you said bamboo and
Bamboo Southampton is a really great one. That's a sushi place.
mhm,
And then I know a really popular place is, Tutto il Giorno. I hope I did not destroy that. They have 2 locations, one in Sag Harbor, which is so
mhm,
beautiful,
mhm,
and also a smaller one in Southampton, but those are really good. It's Italian,
mhm.
but it's very delicious. So,
Amazing.
I mean, right now I live off Grubhub and DoorDash, so everything is delivered here. I'm not going out. I know there's awesome outdoor dining though that just opened up recently. So outdoor dining is gonna be the way to go when you're out here,
Mhm.
but yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing all those places to go to. You gave us so much, and I again, I'm sure people can't wait to try it. I can't wait to try it, but let's get back to that thing you mentioned earlier and all the celebrity sightings that you see in the
Ooh la
Hamptons.
la.
So, so tell us about it. I mean,
It's so strange because when you live here, it
mhm,
doesn't become like a sighting. It's like, "Oh, she lives here." Like, I
mhm,
know that I live maybe half a mile. My house
mhm,
is half a mile from
mhm.
Kelly Ripa's house. And
Oh
so
wow!
all of the stars of Riverdale are always summering there. So,
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh!
it's like when you're walking, you see everybody. They're very active, so you see them all the time. When I would do my
Mhm,
bar studio, Alec
mhm,
Baldwin and
mhm,
Hilaria Baldwin, his wife, they would be there
mhm,
frequently.
mhm.
I mean, every time you go to Soul Cycle or you go to Tracy Anderson, like you run into celebrities. J Lo and A
Oh
Rod
wow!
are always out here. I mean, it's
Yeah.
literally celebrities everywhere. And I'm really terrible because I don't really recognize people. So
Mhm.
unless somebody tells me, that that's so and so, unless it's J Lo, of course, then I always know who she is. But
Right.
otherwise, it's like, oh yeah, that's Andy Cohen. Oh hi Andy. Oh yeah, that's so and so. That's Jay Leno. But they live out here all the time. I mean,
Mhm,
Howard Stern.
mhm.
They live out here. They're always here. So they're normal. It's normal to see them. It's not like
Right.
a spotting or a sighting.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so
Is it
that's to
mostly
a resident.
town running? I know there's a lot of people always running in the
Oh,
Hamptons
yeah.
area.
Oh, people I think walks are the big thing out here. Everybody
Mm,
does. I mean, all of my clients do it maybe 2 or 3 times a day. They do friend walks, they do family walks. People
mhm,
just walk. So every time I'm driving to a client's house or driving to the store, I see just people all over the streets. Everyone walks in all the
Mhm.
villages, in, all the different neighborhoods. Walking is a
Mhm.
huge thing out here. I think fitness overall is a huge thing out here.
Yes,
Everybody is in
definitely.
amazing shape. Literally everybody.
You're in the perfect spot then, in
I
the perfect spot. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so is there anything Hamptons related I may have missed or not asked that you want to share? I'm sure there's so much more, and we might have to do a part two if I missed anything here, but anything at all?
You know, I think a lot of people have this idea that the Hamptons is exclusively for the super, super, super rich 1%. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, really, truly, it's not. I think that anybody can have a wonderful experience. But like
Mm-hmm.
I said, pre plan it. Don't just
Mm-hmm.
show up here, get off a bus, and then think that you're gonna, walk from point A to point B and find a
Mm-hmm.
place to eat and find a place to stay, because that's not gonna happen, especially in the summer. Hotels are
Mm-hmm.
pre-booked, like, I mean, Airbnbs are pre-booked maybe a year in advance.
Oh
So
wow.
you want to get your game plan together. But other
Mm-hmm.
than that, I think you would have, as long as you make reservations
Mm-hmm.
and you have like your little list of things you're going to do, factor in the
Mm-hmm.
fact that there's going to be a lot of traffic during the summer if that's when you're
Mm-hmm.
coming. Yeah. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're coming like 4th of July, if you're coming Labor Day weekend, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you're gonna be sitting in about 3 to 4 hours of traffic in the Hamptons. You're not gonna
Wow.
get anywhere. It would take me an hour to do a 20-minute drive.
Wow.
So, and that's normal. That's each way. So it would
Mm-hmm.
take me 2
Mm-hmm.
hours of commuting to a place that's 20 minutes from my house
Mm-hmm.
normally. So, I mean, just have it planned out. Have your reservations for the restaurants in. Just know where you're gonna go, and I think you could have an amazing experience regardless of your budget. Like, there's
That
things
sounds
to do for all different price ranges. So,
Is there? Okay, that's good to know.
yes,
And
definitely.
is there, like, a dress code or style that one must
Oh,
go
no.
going to the
Well,
Hamptons?
right now, because it's summer 2020, yes, you must have a mask. Other than that,
Okay.
other than a mask, no, really. I mean, you see some places do require shoes, closed-toe
Mm,
shoes, like if you go to, like, a
mhm,
fancy golf course, or,
mhm,
you're gonna be required to have closed-toe shoes, no flip-flops. But for the most
mhm.
part, I believe most restaurants, wineries, everywhere's gonna allow you to pretty much wear whatever you want as long as you're covering your private parts, you're good.
Oh my gosh, you did not say that. Do not go to
Well,
the
I mean,
Hamptons without
it's not a nudist colony. It's people do expect you to wear a shirt and bottoms. So,
Right, like, I was thinking a preppy look here, and you went in a whole different direction, and I love it.
well, that's me.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
0
my
to
last
100.
question my last question to you, Marissa, is, what advice would you give to someone who's looking to move to New York or maybe even possibly the Hamptons?
Okay, so if you're planning to move here, it would depend on your motive. Are you coming here to work? Are you coming here to live? Or are you coming here to raise a family? There's
Mhm,
so many, it's a very, 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 very expensive place to live if you're
mhm.
coming here to live here full time. If
The
you're
Hamptons.
planning, yeah, if you're planning to come here as a worker, whether you're going to start a fitness business or whether you're going to come here and open up your own mobile nail salon or tanning
Mhm,
spa, that is doable. You would probably want to find a residence slightly outside of the Hamptons in one of the
mhm,
local towns and
mhm,
then just commute.
mhm,
But it really just depends on, like I said, your motive for coming here. If you have, 5 million, 10 million, you want to just purchase a house out here, then
mhm.
definitely come
Perfect
on
spot.
out. Come
Right?
on out. And I mean, if you have that, then, you're pretty much good to go. I don't think you're going to have a problem enjoying the life out here. I know a lot of people that have migrated out here because of the pandemic have actually
Mhm.
decided to stay. So I have a
Mm,
couple clients that they're giving up their, 30-year apartments in the city to
mhm,
stay in their Hamptons house because they just don't want to go back to that. Like
mm.
they're liking the low key lifestyle. They're liking the Zoom and the virtual meetings. They just feel like it's no longer necessary to do the big city busy life because
And
they're older. And if you can work
that is
remotely,
that's all in the news. People are fleeing New
yeah,
York, right? But what you're talking about permanently moving there, that's probably the 1% that can,
that
right?
can. Yeah, I mean, unless honestly though, I see so many people. that move out here from all over the country because
Mhm.
they want to. I mean, a lot of them are fitness trainers, a lot of them are just, like hairstylists. So
Mhm.
I feel like if you have like a little business and, I say the word worker, but that's not probably
Mhm.
not the right word, but like
Mhm.
they're hairstylists or makeup artists, they want to come out here and they want to work and they know that people need, there's so many concierge companies that are just booking private chefs are huge
Mhm.
in demand here. Nobody's
Mhm.
cooking their food. Like they want their chefs to cook it. So,
Mm.
I mean, if you're coming out here to work as an assistant or, as like a massage therapist, it's a great place to be because there's so much business. And I
Mm.
mean, us locals that live here, we can't even handle the business. There's so much going around and there's,
Wow.
there's enough for everybody. So but again, that's just during the summers because during the winter, it's a whole nother story. It's like a ghost
Oh,
town. So those are the people that will want to live here. So it's a seasonal place, it thrives during the summer and it
mhm.
shuts down really during the fall and the winter and the spring.
Right, right.
Everything's kind of closing up. It's very seasonal.
But you just gave people some great ideas on business development and why they should move to the Hamptons, even if it's seasonal or starting a remote job. And I love everything you have shared, Marissa. You are an expert at the Hamptons. I am so happy that you have my Mivana Move, and I'm going to join that. Everyone should join that. With that said, where can people connect with you, learn more about you, learn how to join Mivana Move, and everything else?
So you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is at myvanamove, or you can go follow me on Facebook, or you can just go to myvanamove.com/schedule and sign up for my newsletter. That way, hopefully, I'll be able to send you guys the link for my classes. You'll access the schedule, and hopefully, I will be able to see you guys from my living room.
Thanks for tuning in to Gossipnista. Your support means the world. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and share this podcast with your friends. Can't wait till next week's episode? Follow along on Instagram at Gossipnista to get my latest New York happenings. But if you live and breathe New York City like I do and want even more, go to our website at gossipnista.com, explore, and subscribe to our newsletter to get insider tips first. Lastly, if you have any questions and or scoop on the city, you can email me at gossipnista@gmail.com. Until next time, you know you love me. XOXO Gossipnista.